Hi guys, Lenormand time. So this is going to be mid-May to mid of June. So this is actually one of my favorites, if not the favorite. My steady clients just like, do Lenormand cat, please do Lenormand. It kind of like tells you, hey, look left and look right. This is who might be anticipating what can happen. You know, with Lenormand you get lots of things that you kind of like we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. And this is sort of like almost telling you kind of like, hey, jump over this, etc., etc. So also really quickly, the school is starting on the 15th. So last call for this, kind of like check my website, cattara.ca, and check kind of like the schooling schedule. The second thing, my speed up promotion is still on, which is awesome. Instead of 3 weeks, you kind of get a reading within a week. And I also upgraded Rush, so instead of 7, you get it in 3 days. And Urgent, which used to be 3 days turnaround, now you get it in 24 hours. So if you kind of like really want to get a reading, this is a really good time, because one thing that I miss in Canada is spring. We kind of transition from winter to the summer. So just a couple of weeks ago we had a snowstorm, and now my air conditioning is working like full force. So hence I'm going to be spending some actual time with myself and with my close ones in the summer. So kind of like try to squeeze in yourself in time. And so I also wished happy birthday and happy belated birthdays to all Tauruses, as well as the birthdays for Geminis, who will be also celebrating during this period. So without much further ado, guys, I also ask you to please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and all the best. Love you. Hi Pisces, and welcome to your May-June Lenormand reading. If you're reaching this at any other time, then this is actually the right time for you, because the vibrations are vibrations that probably attracted to. In Lenormand, we generally have two main significators, the gentleman and the lady. And of course, there are some other kind of like cards that can actually even signify many others. And guys, this is a general reading, so it's not catered just to one person like in my private readings. For that, get a reading with me, and then I really know that you are the lady, he's the gentleman, for example, because here any of the significators can be you. And also I would say check your ascendant and check your moon, so that way you can actually get more information and also see which energy do you kind of like tune in the most. Now, really good news. Right out of the gate, the very first card here is the lady. And it is in the house of the writer. Something is moving forward. And I don't know if there is a trip, guys. I can see lake, big water, ocean, lake, boat, something, some journey. And the journey is not always by land. The journey is sometimes emotion, because everything looks so good. There is like some kind of loyalty, and this is also connecting with children, with family. But this isn't. This is like in the house of a ring, and this is like talking about some kind of passion. And and kind of like there is like really passion on your term, Pisces, because you're not a sign that's going to, I sometimes like this card, and I did show it because quite a few, oops, I'm showing you the wrong one. Quite a few signs actually got it, so looks like you guys will be making a little Aquarian baby if you are making babies. And of course I have lost the whip in the meantime in my deck over here. I guess eventually it's going to turn up. You see? And if you didn't know, you can tell that I have slight OCD because I had to stop and find it. Otherwise, I couldn't continue because I was freaking out. Oh my gosh, it's not in my cards. So this is the whip that could actually appeal to some signs. It's kind of like engaging in sex games, kind of like, what do you call it, 50 Shades of Grey sort of thing, kind of, right? But this is not really... I really don't think you're going to go into this kind of like a thing. This here for you, especially because you have the dog and the moon, it's almost like expression. You are not performing when sex can be performance. For you, it is engaging, but not as in engagement, engaging in an act of love, of you know, romance. It is like much different for you because it tells me here it's not going to be some kind of like one night stand, hanky panky or sort of thing, but it might be friends with benefits kind of situation. But if that's the case, it's going to be really something that is a genuine kind of expression. And it's going to be really interesting because you will be kind of dominating the situation. There is like really something connecting to your house, because like I have the house over here and also the tower in the house of the house. So I don't know, and it's kind of weird. The lady is right next to the house and the gentleman is like right next to the tower. So what do we have in between? We have the cross. Well, the cross generally in Lenormand talks about cross to bear kind of a thing, right? And I really don't see it that way. To me, the cross is always something fated, something that has to happen. It's kind of, the clue would be probably in the cards that I kind of like see kind of like surrounding this. And the skite is in the house of the skite, which makes it really, really potent. So some kind of like key, something is being cut off, like you are, and this is in the house of the whip. So see, this is kind of like all roads lead to Rome here. I feel that somebody from the past might be coming back, asking for the key, literally, and maybe even asking for kind of like being together with you. Because look at this, there is like one significator having a heart right next to it. Another one has a trip or journey or kind of going forward. But at the same time, I think that you are very well aware that there could be difficulties with this person. And mind you, at the same time, that could be somebody else that, you know, you are already having on the side. So if you're single, you might have some kind of like really passionate nights, and especially if you're traveling, it looks like it's going to be one of those, you know, Monday to Friday kind of affairs. But for you, that's going to feel like really like very romantic. This kind of like, it's very interesting to me, given that something really, really important, it's being cut off. There was the motion of kind of moving forward, and then all of a sudden that kind of like stopped, and I almost like feel you're going to be able to reach some kind of like really important decision or something that is very necessary. So hence the fate is over here. So maybe something that you have decided previously, you're going to simply override that. You know, it's like when we say, okay, I'm going to invest in this funds, and then down the road you say, well, that didn't work, let's kind of change this. But this kind of is going to be on the emotional level. And on emotional level, I see the lilies over here, and the lilies are always talking about possibility of somebody coming from the past. The lilies are also connecting with healing. And here we have the tree that is healing, and we have the gentleman that is in a tree house. So I really think that there is something for some of you that healing has to take place, because I think some of you have been affected by the third person, the snake. And the snake is in the house of the fox. So it's kind of like, for you, it's kind of like something that you are really trying to overcome in order to move forward. Really, really. And I think you will. It's kind of like annoyances and things that have been, in a way, things that kind of like irritated you will come to an end. Like, because the cross here is also in the house of the ship. So look at this. Like, I mean, it's kind of like, again, leading to conclude this. And this is the garden is in the house of the cross. So it tells me that some of you probably step aside from dating. And maybe that even you were kind of like shooting in the dark. And that's what I kind of like always think about when people date people on Facebook, or you know, like when you get all these contacts from people in a different country, you are setting yourself up for failure. And this really can be one of those cases. There is like somebody at a distance for you who is there actually for you, and who maybe comes and, let's call it, service you, right? And it's more than that. It's kind of like also a connection that you have with this person, but not enough for it to be meaningful one. It is like a connection that is, however, helping you at this time. But I think you are going to find some new decision, as I said, new solution to how you looked at things. And there is like this, again, jumping in and basically pond, starting to date, starting to maybe contact the people from the past, extending yourself a little bit further, right? And at the same time, kind of like being cautious and being worried, not knowing how to go about that. You still kind of like have this confusion over here, especially if this could be somebody from the past coming over here. And I know this is not Mercury retrograde anymore, but like literally I have been seeing many past partners creeping up and coming back to the surface, because usually Mercury retrograde also serves to crystallize certain things. This is like when you break up with someone because the things go out of hand and you kind of like stop liking a person. You might love them, but you don't like them, and like is really important because it's the glue. And then by walking away, it's ability to look at that situation and kind of like recognize something from a different standpoint. And it's now revisiting and coming back. But there is this issue of this snake. So I'm not so sure who is the snake, because it's also residing in the house of the fox. So who is the fox and who is the snake? Because this is like something that is like really challenging, and you're trying to kind of resolve that in the interest of your own health, right? Like your happiness almost like depends on it. You kind of like want to move forward. It is so clear. This also could mean that you might think that you want someone, and I have to tell you, Pisces, you will have people sticking on you. You have one here, you have one here, you have one here. It's going to be like you'll be a man and woman magnet, like these days. It's absolutely going to be awesome. And you might think, as I said, that you're on one trajectory and you will end up in a completely different one in a short period of time, because it looks like you kept feeling that maybe you have been going through some kind of cycles, and that you didn't get out of that kind of like karmic spin. And in order to get through it, you really have to work the situation that has been given to you to resolve. And you basically will be determined to kind of like get to the bottom. Sometimes that means answering that why question. Why have you done it? Or why haven't you done it? Kind of a thing. And it looks like you'll be getting the answers about that. You will be getting like this person from the past finally explaining all of it. This, for some of you, means that you will be actually going in a new direction with the same person. For the others, it means that you will be dating quite a bit, right? With karma being here. So this also could mean, I have to tell you, kind of like spending lots of time in bed. I do have to tell you, I kind of like see this communication. You see the fox is here in the coffin house, and it's also knighting the coffin over here, which is in the mice house, meaning that you kind of are feeling that you have to purify yourself. And if you purify yourself, you feel that you will start vibrating on a different energy level, and you will be attracting different people in different circumstances. And you are absolutely right. As I said, with a crossroads in the heart house, and with putting an end to some kind of like issues, something that maybe have been seen as unsurmountable, you will actually be surprised how things will actually all of a sudden clear. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I will read for you the next month, and we still have some time before then. But for the next month, I really think the key are going to be either longing for somebody or reuniting with someone and kind of like reaching some kind of like bigger decision. But at the same time, Pisces, you'll be enjoying the ride, and the ride is going to be sexy, romantic, and fun. So I think you're the envy of the May, and enjoy it. Have some for me as well. And if you want your private reading, contact me at cattarot.ca. And lastly, but not least, make sure you subscribe so you get notifications about my live reading. And please join me on Facebook to see your dailies, as well as on Instagram. All the best, Pisces. Have a good one. Love you.